Think you know 4x4 trucks? Think again. We're diving into 10 insanely capable vintage 4x4 trucks most people have never heard of. From military beasts to off-road legends, these rigs redefine what a truck can do. Stay tuned and make sure to like, share and subscribe. You don't want to miss a single one. Number 10. FJ45 Toyota Land Cruiser. Rugged, boxy and built like a tank, the FJ45 Toyota Land Cruiser quickly became the ultimate workhorse for explorers, farmers and militaries around the world. Designed as an extended version of the FJ40, it offered extra cargo space and seating without sacrificing the Land Cruiser's legendary off-road prowess. Its tall stance, short overhangs and simple steel body meant it could tackle trails, rivers and rocky paths without hesitation. This was a vehicle made to endure. Under the hood, a 3.9-litre inline-six gasoline engine, later upgraded to a 4.2-litre, powered the FJ45 through a 4-speed manual transmission and a full-time 4x4 system. Solid front and rear axles combined with leaf springs gave it serious articulation and durability. Approach and departure angles were generous, and its low gearing made climbing steep inclines manageable even fully loaded. Reliability and simplicity were the real stars here. The cabin was functional, not fancy bench seats. Basic gauges and minimal comforts reflected its utilitarian purpose. Yet it was surprisingly versatile, handling passengers, cargo, or even towing small trailers with ease. Toyota's emphasis on strong construction and low-maintenance mechanics made it a favorite in remote regions, from African savannas to South American highlands. This was a truck that refused to quit. Even decades after production ended, the FJ45 remains iconic among overlanders and vintage 4x4 collectors. Its timeless design, mechanical robustness, and ability to handle extreme terrain keep it relevant today. No frills, no gimmicks, just a brutally capable 4x4 that proves why Toyota's Land Cruisers earned their legendary reputation. Number 9. Haflinger Steyr-Puch. Tiny, rugged and deceptively strong, the Haflinger Steyr-Puch was designed to go where almost nothing else could. Built in Austria for military and agricultural use, it weighed barely over 600 kilograms, but could carry passengers and cargo across the roughest terrain. Its compact size made it perfect for narrow mountain trails, steep inclines, and mud-choked paths. This wasn't about speed or style, it was about survival in miniature form. A 643cc two-cylinder air-cooled engine powered the Haflinger, paired with a 4-speed manual transmission and full-time 4x4 with locking hubs. Portal axles gave incredible ground clearance for its size, while independent suspension allowed it to adapt to every bump, rock and rut. Despite tiny numbers on paper, it moved efficiently over snow, sand and uneven trails where larger trucks struggled. Capability here came from clever engineering, not brute horsepower. Versatility was built into its DNA. Fold-down windshields, removable doors and a lightweight body meant it could be transported, loaded or modified for specialized tasks. Military units and farmers alike appreciated its mechanical simplicity and near indestructible drivetrain. It could haul supplies, carry personnel or tow light equipment without complaint. Reliability wasn't optional, it was expected. Even today, Haflingers are prized by collectors and off-road enthusiasts who want a nimble, ultra-capable 4x4. They're tiny, simple, and endlessly adaptable, proving that raw capability doesn't always require size or luxury. When terrain gets extreme and space is tight, the Haflinger Steyr-Puch still delivers with precision, proving that innovation can beat sheer power every time. Number 8. Dodge Power Wagon WM300. Massive, rugged, and unapologetically utilitarian, the Dodge Power Wagon WM300 was the definition of hard work on wheels. Designed as a civilian version of Dodge's military WC series, it could haul, tow, and conquer terrain that smaller trucks wouldn't dare touch. Heavy steel construction and a ladder frame chassis made it nearly indestructible. This was a truck built to survive everything from mud to mountain passes. Under the hood sat a 230 cubic inch flathead inline-six engine producing around 102 horsepower, paired with a 3-speed manual and a robust 2-speed transfer case. Solid axles front and rear, along with locking differentials, gave it unmatched traction in its era. Portal hubs provided serious ground clearance, allowing it to crawl over rocks and obstacles without hesitation. Speed wasn't the goal, dominance was. Inside, the cabin was simple and functional vinyl seats, minimal controls, and a no-nonsense dashboard. Comfort took a back seat to reliability, but everything was engineered to last decades under abuse. The Power Wagon became a favorite among farmers, construction crews, and off-road enthusiasts for its brute strength and dependability. Its reputation grew because it rarely let anyone down, no matter the conditions. Even today, well-maintained WM300s are sought after for off-road builds, overlanding, and restoration projects. Its combination of sheer toughness, classic styling, and mechanical simplicity ensures it stands out in any collection. Approach steep hills, ford rivers, or tow heavy loads, this truck will do it all without flinching. Dodge Power Wagon WM300 proves that raw capability sometimes comes in the simplest, heaviest form imaginable. Number 7. International Harvester Scout 800. Before SUVs became soft crossovers, the International Harvester Scout 800 was already doing the hard work. Built as a direct competitor to early Jeeps and Broncos, this compact 4x4 focused on utility over comfort. Boxy steel panels, removable tops, and simple mechanicals made it adaptable to farms, trails, and job sites. It wasn't polished, it was practical. Engine options ranged from a rugged 152 cubic inch inline 4 to larger 196 inline 4s and even 266 and 304 cubic inch V8s. Buyers could pair those with manual or automatic transmissions and true part-time four-wheel drive. Solid axles and a tough ladder frame gave it real off-road credibility. It wasn't built to flex online, it was built to work. The Scout 800 improved on earlier models with better interiors, upgraded electrical systems, and stronger drivetrains, yet it never lost its raw mechanical character. Short wheelbase proportions helped it maneuver through tight trails and rough terrain. This was a vehicle that demanded driver input, no traction control, no stability programs, just skill and steel. Production ended in the early 70s, but its influence shaped the entire SUV segment that followed. Well-preserved examples are now highly collectible because they represent the era before comfort diluted capability. It's not refined by modern standards, and that's exactly the point. The Scout 800 proves that real off-road credibility existed long before SUVs became lifestyle accessories. Approach and departure angles were strong for its time, making steep climbs manageable without heavy modifications. Aftermarket support today is massive, which keeps these rigs trail-ready decades later. Strip away the nostalgia, and what you're left with is a brutally honest 4x4 that still earns its keep on real terrain. Number 6. Volvo C303. Boxy, tall, and unapologetically military, the Volvo C303 was engineered for Scandinavian extremes. Developed for the Swedish Armed Forces, this 4x4 was part of Volvo's Laplander series, built to handle snow, forests, and rocky terrain without drama. Its short wheelbase and high stance weren't for looks, they were about mobility. Everything about it was functional, durable, and overbuilt. Power came from a 3.0-litre inline-six gasoline engine producing around 125 horsepower, paired with a 4-speed manual transmission and dual-range transfer case. Portal axles delivered exceptional ground clearance over 15 inches, allowing it to clear obstacles walls most trucks would scrape on. Locking differentials and a robust ladder frame made traction predictable and reliable. It wasn't fast, but it was relentless. Its reputation went global when a C303 won the 1983 Paris-Dakar Rally in the under 10-litre truck class, proving its durability under extreme punishment. That wasn't marketing hype, that was endurance under real-world abuse. Military forces across Europe adopted it because it kept moving in conditions that shut others down. Cold weather reliability was one of its strongest traits. Production numbers were relatively limited compared to mass-market 4x4 vehicles, which keeps it rare today. Off-road enthusiasts value it for mechanical simplicity and true expedition-grade strength. It doesn't rely on electronics, flashy interiors, or oversized engines. The Volvo C303 earns respect the old-school way by surviving terrain that defeats modern SUVs. Number 5. Citroen Mehari 4x4. Lightweight, minimal, and almost toy-like at first glance, the Citroen Mehari 4x4 hides surprising off-road grit. Originally based on the Citroen 2 CV platform, this plastic-bodied utility vehicle was designed for rough rural terrain, not city cruising. Its ABS plastic body panels resisted rust and kept weight incredibly low. That simplicity became its biggest strength. Underneath sat a 602cc air-cooled flat twin engine producing around 29 horsepower, paired with a 4-speed manual and a selectable 4-wheel drive system. Yes, the numbers are tiny, but the Mehari weighed barely over 600 kilograms. That power-to-weight ratio, combined with independent suspension and long travel, allowed it to float over sand and crawl across uneven trails. In soft terrain, lightness beats horsepower every time. The 4x4 version added a rear differential, extra ground clearance, and even low range. Gearing rare for something this small. It was used by the French military, forestry services, and rescue teams in areas where larger trucks would sink or struggle. Narrow tracks and excellent approach angles made it surprisingly capable in tight spaces. It wasn't aggressive, it was clever. Production of the 4x4 model lasted only a few years, making it significantly rarer than the standard Mehari. Today, surviving examples are prized for their uniqueness and quirky toughness. It won't win drag races or haul massive loads, but in mud, sand, and remote countryside trails, the Citroen Mehari 4x4 proves that capability isn't about size, it's about smart design. Number 4. Volkswagen Iltis Compact. Squared off and brutally functional, the Volkswagen Iltis was engineered with one mission in mind: dependable off-road performance. Developed for the German military in the late 1970s, it replaced the aging DKW Munger with something tougher and more refined. Lightweight construction and short overhangs gave it serious agility in tight terrain. This wasn't built for comfort, it was built to operate where traction is never guaranteed. Power came from a 1.7-litre inline-4 gasoline engine producing roughly 75 horsepower, connected to a 4-speed manual transmission and selectable 4-wheel drive. On paper, that sounds modest, but paired with its low weight, it was more than enough. Locking differentials and solid ground clearance allowed it to climb steep gradients and power through mud and snow. Capability came from balance and smart engineering, not brute force. Its credibility skyrocketed when a modified version dominated the 1980 Paris-Dakar Rally, taking multiple top positions against far more powerful machines. That victory proved the platform's durability under extreme punishment. Military units across Europe trusted it for reconnaissance and transport duties in harsh environments. Reliability wasn't optional, it was the whole point. Production ran for a decade before civilian demand faded and newer platforms replaced it. Even so, enthusiasts still respect it for its mechanical simplicity and authentic off-road credentials. It's not oversized, not overpowered, and definitely not luxurious. But when terrain gets ugly, the Volkswagen Iltis shows why smart engineering beats flashy numbers. Number 3. Steyr-Puch Pinzgauer. Boxy, narrow and almost understated at first glance, this Austrian-built machine was engineered for terrain most trucks avoid. Developed in the early 1970s for military use, it focused purely on mobility and durability. High ground clearance and a compact footprint allowed it to slip through tight mountain trails and rough landscapes with surgical precision. It wasn't styled for attention, it was shaped for survival. Early models used a 2.5-litre air-cooled inline-4 gasoline engine, later expanded to 2.7 litres, paired with a 5-speed manual gearbox and dual-range transfer case. Portal axles delivered serious ground clearance without lifting the centre of gravity. Independent suspension on all 4 wheels provided remarkable articulation. The setup prioritised control and balance over raw horsepower numbers. Available in both 4x4 and 6x6 configurations, it offered impressive payload capability relative to its size. A central tube chassis design increased rigidity while protecting drivetrain components inside the backbone frame. Military forces across Europe relied on it for transport, communications, and rescue missions in extreme conditions. Function dictated every design decision. Production lasted nearly 30 years, with global exports that built a loyal following. Modern overlanders still seek these out because the platform is mechanically simple and brutally capable. It's not oversized, it's not flashy, and it doesn't pretend to be something it's not. It earns respect the hard way by going places bigger trucks can't. Number 2. GAZ 66. The GAZ 66 wasn't built to impress, it was built to endure punishment most trucks would never survive. Introduced in 1964 by the Gorky automobile plant, this compact Soviet 4x4 became a backbone of military logistics across brutal climates. With its cab-over engine layout and short wheelbase, it looked unusual, but that design gave it serious balance and trail agility. This was a machine engineered for mud, snow, forests, and war zones. Power came from a 4.25-litre V8 gasoline engine, producing roughly 115 horsepower, paired with a 4-speed manual and a dual-range transfer case. On paper, those numbers aren't wild, but capability isn't about flashy specs. The GAZ 66 featured portal axles, giving it outstanding ground clearance and allowing it to crawl through terrain that would swallow conventional trucks. Add central tire inflation and it could adjust grip on the fly, depending on the surface. It carried over 2 tons of payload while maintaining impressive approach and departure angles. The weight distribution from the cab-over design helped it stay stable in deep ruts and steep climbs. Soviet forces used it everywhere from Siberian tundra to mountain passes because it kept working when conditions turned hostile. Reliability wasn't optional, it was mandatory. More than 900,000 units were produced during its long production run, making it one of the most widely used military trucks of its era. It wasn't luxurious, it wasn't refined, and it definitely wasn't comfortable. But if your goal was reaching a destination no matter what stood in the way, the GAZ 66 delivered, and that's why it earns its spot among insanely capable vintage 4x4 trucks most people overlook. Number 1. Toyota Mega Cruiser. The Toyota Mega Cruiser isn't just a 4x4, it's Japan's military-grade answer to unstoppable terrain. With its massive stance, towering ground clearance, and ultra-wide body, this machine looks more like armored transport than a civilian SUV. Built originally for the Japanese self-defense forces, the Mega Cruiser was engineered to survive environments that would destroy ordinary trucks. Under the hood sits a 4.1-litre turbo diesel inline-4, producing around 153 horsepower and a mountain-moving 382 Newton-meters of torque. That power runs through a 4-speed automatic transmission and a full-time 4WD system with locking differentials. Add portal axles and you get extreme ground clearance over 16 inches, letting it crawl over rocks most trucks can't even approach. This isn't lifted for style, it's lifted for war. Despite weighing over 3 tons, the Mega Cruiser was surprisingly advanced for its time. It featured 4-wheel steering for improved maneuverability, independent suspension on all corners, and serious approach and departure angles. Toyota didn't just build a big truck, they engineered a highly specialized off-road platform with precision control in brutal terrain. Only about 3,000 units were produced, and very few left Japan, making it one of the rarest production 4x4 trucks ever built. It was never meant for malls, pavement flexing, or Instagram builds. The Toyota Mega Cruiser was built to go where roads disappear, and that's exactly why most people don't even know it exists. Those were 10 vintage 4x4 trucks that prove capability isn't about size or luxury. From the Toyota Mega Cruiser to the FJ45 Land Cruiser, each one has a story of brute strength and smart design. If you loved this deep dive, hit that like button, share with your friends, and subscribe for more epic truck content. Comment below which truck you'd take off-road first. Let's see who's brave enough.